Have you ever felt like no matter what you say, a young person in your life just shuts you down and refuses to engage with you? What if it's not about them just being problematic or defiant, intentionally hostile or rude, but instead it's a breakdown in their ability to understand themselves and their motivations, and also you and what you want from them? Unfortunately, a lot of discipline strategies don't work because they're missing one crucial step. We're going to look at the secret sauce to help you apply that to your life to make sure you can appropriately support and develop connection with the teenagers you're supporting in your personal or professional life. If there was a proven way to help them open up and build trust in those relationships, remember, every interaction you have is an opportunity to unlock their world and improve your relationship with them. My name is Alex. I'm a forensic psychologist with a special interest in young people with social, emotional, and behavioral problems. The 1990s and the work of two former psychoanalysts, stroke doctors, stroke researchers, stroke trauma aficionados, Peter Fonagy and Anthony Bateman. They explored something crucial: our ability to understand what's going on in other people's minds, something that they called mentalizing. So what is mentalizing? What's going on in someone else's head, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and what they want. That's pretty much what mentalizing is. It's our ability to understand that people, including ourselves, do things because of an inner world, inner drive, motivation, beliefs, their desires, their fears, their primal emotions. We use this skill in two different ways. One is to understand ourselves, and the other one is to understand other people in the social world around us. In simpler terms, mentalization is like putting yourself in someone else's shoes, whilst also being aware of what's going on inside your mind. So the mindset that we're trying to get, or the psychological stance, is going to support relationship building because it should help the young person to feel more understood. So when it comes to the way we interact with the young people we're supporting, we need to approach each individual interaction with a genuine empathy and interest, feeling of non-judgment and safety. We want to try and avoid jumping to conclusions and having definite answers about what's going on in a young person's mind. Things like, they're just doing it to be difficult. We need to try and remain more curious about their perspective and what might be going on under the hood. And in mentalizing, that's called the not knowing stance. We want to be upfront and communicate honestly and clearly. If there's a confusion or a misunderstanding in communication, we need to acknowledge that and model responsibility taking and openness to feedback, and adjust appropriately by being transparent. This will show young people that we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We need to show that we understand how they're feeling, even if we don't necessarily agree with their behaviors or their actions. We want to be curious and show that genuine interest in their lives, their experiences, and their interests. We want to think carefully about how we communicate. So let's help them understand the method by showing them active listening. We need to ask kind of open questions to develop our understanding of what's going on in their mind, and also help them to articulate and process those things. Don't forget, this can help them verbalize and process these things that are unconscious and bring them to a more conscious level. We want to take an interest in their perspective and seek clarification and feedback on our ideas and hypotheses. We want to show them that we get it, that we understand their perspectives and their point of view, even if they're not ours or not in line with our thoughts or feelings. And that we do this without criticism or judgment. It might take a lot of executive control on our part to emphasize that empathy in situations that might be extremely challenging, like when they hold views that are completely opposed to ours. Whatever we do, we want to try to find and manage our critical reactions. These might shut down genuine engagement and drop us back a couple of steps in terms of building and sustaining that relationship. What we know is that high pressure, high stakes situations, accurate mentalizing becomes a real challenge, and that's when things go wrong. When we mentalize well, we can better understand our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, leading to more successful social functioning and relationship. However, there's always the counter. Difficulties in mentalizing are linked to various mental health problems, including conduct disorder, borderline personality disorder, anxiety, depression, and self-harm. In these mental health difficulties, we've often seen a challenge in appropriate and safe mentalizing. But mentalizing is not something we're born with. So how do we develop it? How do we learn it? Early relationship, program our brain and set us up for understanding ourselves and other people through that first crucial relationship we have with a caregiver. And later they can learn that people have different wants and needs. During adolescence, Mentalizing supports the foundation of a coherent sense of self. For teenagers, mentalization is especially important because it helps them building healthy connection with other people. But in teenagers, we know that areas of the brain responsible for connection are still under construction, especially for young people who are facing emotional distress, attachment issues, histories of trauma. These are population who often experience mentalizing breakdowns. This can lead them to shut down their reflective thinking and go into a protective mode that makes it hard for them to understand other people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So what exactly are you supposed to do now? Well, the first thing you should try and do is create that supportive environment which is consistent, reliable, and drives towards everyone involved in building trust with each other. We want to get on top of things when we see them. When we see things are going the wrong way, we want to de-escalate tense situations. We want to make sure that reflection and behavior control is possible by managing things before they get too much. We don't want to get too bogged down in what's gone on in the past. We want to try and focus on here and now and think about the current thoughts, feelings, and situations that we're trying to work through. We should be using interesting psychological techniques like motivational interviewing. Look it up on Google if you don't know it, or watch one of my future videos, to try and help us understand the teenager's identity, their personal goals, what change they're seeking to foster, and developing agency and autonomy in their life. Make sure you understand their experiences and the link between their past behavior, their trauma, and how that might be impacting their thinking, their behavior, and the way they manage their problems now. Show the people you're supporting how to reflect on themselves by doing it in your everyday life and the way that you conduct yourself. Showing interest in other people's mental states, thoughts, feelings, and emotions can help to model mentalizing and help to make it clear for young people. So what further insights can brain science and psychology offer us to help manage this? YouTube usually suggests a nice video to watch after, so I'm sure it's going to recommend something decent for you. How about that one? What is it? Let me know in the comments.